Welcome to your most favorite channel, Heartbeat. My name is Dr. Amrit Kejriwal. This channel is mainly meant for MBBS students, postgraduates, medical professionals, and all those who may find it a bit more easy. It is an attempt to make the complicated medical sciences more simplified and easier for understanding. Today we'll learn about electrocardiogram. Channel's name is Heartbeat. My name is Dr. Amrit Kejriwal. In this lecture, we'll just discuss the basic introduction to electrocardiography. It is, by definition, it is a graphical representation of electrical activity generated by cardiac cells that reaches the body surface. So, if there is abnormality in these cardiac cells, the electrical activity will change, and it is measurement of these changes. Utility: cardiac. It detects electrical activity of the heart, abnormalities of rate and rhythm, ischemic changes of myocardium. It is useful in detecting ventricular hypertrophy, cardiac axis, and pacemaker activity. It has several non-cardiac uses used commonly, so it can be helpful in detecting electrolyte imbalance, drug toxicity, shock, cases of fainting or seizures, pre and post surgery, unconscious patients, and there are many other non-cardiac uses of electrocardiogram. The advantages of ECG. It is a bedside investigation, may be done in OPD, IPD, ambulance, or at home of patient. It takes a short time to perform. Tracing is available immediately, non-invasive, and it is cost effective and economical. It has certain disadvantages also. It may be normal in spite of significant cardiac disease. It may have changes that are difficult to interpret. In a patient who's got pre-existing cardiac disease, the changes which may persist, and in the new fresh ECG it may be difficult to say whether it is totally fresh or this is the same persistent changes of the previous ECG. There may be artifacts such as tremors, hiccups, and shiverings which may alter the ECG recordings. The standard sites may be amputated or bandaged, and it cannot provide details of abnormal structure of the heart. Precautions while taking an ECG. There should be minimal crossing over of the wires. When you attach the limb leads and chest leads, there should be minimal crossing of wires. This is due to the addition of current. The gel application should be localized. So when we apply gel to the chest leads V2 and V3 or V4, the gel should be localized only for V2 and not for V3. If we have gel applied commonly to V2 and V3, transmission from V3 will go to V2 and V2 will go to V3. What is V2, V3 we'll understand later on. Sometimes the electrodes, they are unstable and fall off from the chest, especially in patients who are having hairy chest. Still, we are not supposed to touch the electrodes while performing the ECG. Same patient and repeated ECG. Patients admitted in ICU and ECGs may be done 2 to 3 times or 5 times a day or even more. And the technician is usually different. Electrodes may be placed differently. So on the chest wall, it is better to mark the position of electrodes. So whichever technician comes, he places the electrodes on the same position. One more problem is that the lower limbs should not touch each other and no metallic contact with the patient. Preferably the patient should be kept in supine position while doing the ECG. There should be no loose connections, otherwise the tracing will not come accurate. Coming to the leads of ECG. Limb electrodes applied are 4, chest electrodes applied are 6. Tracing is recorded in 12 leads classically, 3 bipolar limb leads, 3 augmented limb leads, and 6 chest leads. Now coming to the bipolar leads, the right arm is marked by a red color, left arm by the yellow, left foot by the green, and right foot by the black electrodes. This is standard. So lead 1 joins the right arm to left arm. Lead 2 measures the potential difference between the right arm and the left foot. And lead 3 left arm to left foot. So these are the bipolar leads. Now coming to the augmented leads. Same thing over here. Right is red, yellow is left, green is left foot, and black is right foot. So AVR, from a central point, we measure the potential difference on the right hand. From AVL is from central point to the left hand, and AVF is to the left foot. Coming to the chest leads, V1 is located at the right fourth intercostal space just next to the sternum, parasternal. V2 left fourth intercostal space, parasternal. V3 is between V2 and V4, midpoint. V4 is at the left fifth intercostal space, mid-clavicular line. V5 is left fifth intercostal space, anterior axillary line. You can see over here. And V6 is the left fifth intercostal space, mid-axillary line. There are other leads which we will not be discussing. V7, V8, right-sided leads, and there are some more leads, special leads, which we shall not discuss. Position of chest leads in the transverse section, same leads V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, V6. So we can see V1 and V2, they represent the septum, electrical activity mainly of the septum. V3 and V4 show the anterior myocardium. V5 and V6 the lateral myocardium. Now these are the leads and significance: bipolar leads, unipolar leads, chest leads. So those in green represent the lateral, V1, AVL and V5, V6. V2, V3 and AVF show inferior. For practical purposes, AVR does not show anything. V1, V2 shows septal, and V3, V4 give idea of the electrical activity in the anterior part of the myocardium. Now spread of cardiac impulse. The cardiac impulse spreads from the SA node to the right atrium, left atrium, and simultaneously to the AV node. From the AV node, it goes into the bundle of His and then goes from the left and right branches, and thereafter the Purkinje fibers. From there, it spreads into the electrical activity, goes from the outside in throughout the ventricles almost simultaneously. This is the direction of the cardiac axis from the SA node to the AV node and to the ventricle. Any vector which is parallel to this will show positive deflection. Any vector which is opposite to this will show a negative deflection depending upon the direction of the wave. This is the same cardiac axis in anteroposterior direction. So this is the isoelectric line. Depolarization towards the positive electrode will give positive deflection. So here is the electrode, and if the vector is parallel to this, it will show a positive deflection. And depolarization opposite the positive electrode will give a negative deflection. Over here we can see. And if it is at right angles, over here we can see it will not show any deflection, but it will be isoelectric. This is the cardiac axis in sagittal view, comes from the right shoulder and comes near the left fifth intercostal space or fourth intercostal space. This is the ECG paper. 1 millimeter in the vertical direction represents 0.1 millivolt. So 5 millimeters represent 0.5 millivolts. 1 millimeter in the horizontal axis represents 0.04 seconds. So 5 millimeters will represent 0.2 seconds. Coming to the ECG paper speed, 25 millimeters equal to 1 second. This is the usual tracing which we do. And 10 millimeters equal to 1 millivolt. This is a standardization curve which you will see. Why this is required? For example, if we measure the distance between any 2 points, we have to express whether it's in kilometers, meters or millimeters. So this is a standardization on which the ECG was taken. In a subsequent lecture, I will show what happens if we take the same ECG on 20 millimeters and 5 millimeters, and this is standardization. Now coming to the basic terminologies. Baseline is a flat isoelectric straight line. Waves are deviation from the baseline upwards or downwards. Complex is combination of waveforms. Segment is a line between two waves. An interval is a segment plus a wave, waves or complex. Now coming to the baseline, waves and segment. This is the baseline, straight horizontal line. These are waves which are upward deflection or negative deflection. And this is segment, small piece of straight line between two waves. Intervals, this is a wave with a segment combined. This is an interval. The wave may be positive or negative. Again, wave with a segment. Here we can see one wave, two waves, segment and another wave. These all are intervals. Now coming to the complex. Here is one wave and this second wave. So this is a complex. The waves may not be both negative or positive. One may be positive and negative, or it may be two negative and one positive, or it may be two negative and one positive. There may be variations in waves. So whenever two waves are combined, it is called a complex. So in this part, interval, we can say that this is a complex. Coming to the ECG waves, they're named standard names. Here we can see the P wave, Q wave, R wave, S wave, T wave, and again P wave. Please remember, this part from this dotted red line to this dotted red line represents the systole, during which there is ventricular activation and blood is ejected from the left ventricle to the right to the aorta. And the rest of the cardiac cycle represents the diastole. So if there's abnormality over here in the conduction of the wave, that may affect the systole. This is the ECG tracing. The P wave over here, upstroke, it represents depolarization of the right atrium. The downstroke represents depolarization of the left atrium. The QRX complex over here, it represents the depolarization of ventricles, mainly left, and the T wave represents the repolarization of ventricles. Same ECG, PR segment over here represents the refractory period of AV node. ST segment represents the ventricular myocardium in the depolarized state. And from here to here, that is the beginning of the P wave to the end of the PR segment or the beginning of the QRS wave, it is called PR interval. And from the beginning of the QRS complex to the end of the T wave, it is QT interval. Many ECGs you will not see a Q wave. So in such patients, such ECGs, the R wave beginning is taken as the PR segment or QT interval, but make sure it is there all in all, because the Q wave may be isoelectric. So you have to see all the electrode and see if there's a Q wave in all the tracings. If it is absent in the tracings which the Q wave is present, only those it is better to go for the PR segment and QT interval to analyze the duration and time. Now spread of the cardiac impulse. This is the isoelectric line over here, which you can see over here, and the SA node impulse spreads from the SA node to the AV node, and this gives the P wave. PR segment, which represents the refractory period of AV node, and then we get a QRS complex which contributes to lots of activities such as spreading of the impulse from the AV node to the ventricles, ventricular walls, and their activation. All this is in the QRS complex. Then you get the ST segment, which represents the persistent depolarization, and T wave, which is the repolarization part of the ECG. Pacemakers of the heart. SA node is the dominant pacemaker of the heart, and 60 to 100 beats per minute it generates. Now, since it generates 60 to 100 beats, it doesn't allow the AV node to conduct its own impulses, which is a backup pacemaker and has 40 to 60 beats per minute. Again, the ventricular cell is a second line backup pacemaker which beats 20 to 45 beats per minute. Now, we must understand the velocity of conduction of the electrical impulse in SA node is 0.01 millimeters per second, atrial muscle 1 to 1.2 meters per second, AV node 0.02 to 0.05. This is the average speed in AV node. Bundle of his 1.2 meters per second, bundle branches 2 to 4, Purkinje fibers 2 to 4, and ventricular muscles 0.2 to 1. Here we see the speed is very fast, and that is why the ventricles contract almost simultaneously and immediately and very fast. Thank you.